Gazelle display team. Gives it that very unique sound as well. The Fenstrom tail is very quiet as well. That helps in battlefield conditions, keeps your observation by the enemy very, very quiet. Keep it quiet, sneak up on them. So anything that keeps your noise down, and those Fenstrom tails do that, is a help. So Fenstrom, if you speak French, of course, is derived from the French word window, fenêtre, so it's like a window into the tail rotor. Has a cruising speed of 164 miles an hour and a maximum speed of 193, and that is fast for a helicopter. Most production helicopters today, twin squirrels, things like that, you'll be cruising around 120, maybe 140. I once did a flight back from Middlesbrough to London in a twin squirrel. Oh, that was horrible. It was like 120, 140 all the way, very bumpy. So to go 160 is very fast, but up to 190 is even better. And it also actually still holds the record as the fastest single-engine helicopter manufactured today. The team operate from their base in Landmead Airfield near Wantage. And it's made up predominantly of ex-Army Air Corps and Royal Marine and Royal Navy pilots. It has a fantastic ground crew who give up their time. They're all volunteers throughout the year to assist in bringing these fantastic aircraft to display circuits. And I've been to many shows where they've had their own on-site presence as well, where you could buy merchandise. So a real dedicated band of followers. Of course, none of that would be possible without the generosity of the owners of Falcon Aviation, who assist in the maintenance of the aircraft. And as I said, that can be quite expensive when it comes to rotary aircraft. And if you are lucky enough to see the aircraft on the ground, you'll see they are immaculate. They're like they're just come out of the factory. So I've been told that the aircraft are better looking than the pilots even. That's how well maintained they are. So it's a lightweight aircraft given the power that's involved with it, so it's got a very good power to weight ratio. She's considered to be a true pilot's aircraft, with many pilots christening her the Jaguar E-Type of the skies. I know it as another name. In the army it was referred to as the screaming chicken leg. It looks like a chicken leg. That noise that you hear as it's coming through, that whining, that high-pitched whine, that's actually the compressor intake system at the front of the engine that's making that noise. So it's not the rotor blades. So the aircraft being flown today, the lead aircraft there, the blue ex-Empire Test Pilot School, is a HT2. And you can see that extended probe on the nose, and that was used to measure the aircraft's movement very, very accurately. And it had the original registration of XE939. It's used by the test school down in Boscombe Down in Wiltshire, up until 2016. The number 2 aircraft, the one on the right, diamond formation, is an ex-Royal Air Force, and that's a HT3, so a slightly later version, originally registered as XZ934, and that's been in civilian hands since 2002. Number 3, which is the one on the left, is the ex-Royal Navy HT2, and that's from 705 Squadron, Royal Naval Air Station Culdrose. When it was in service, it was registered as XW857. Now, the reason I've given out these registrations is I guarantee you some of the crowd here giving it back, somebody's dad or somebody's uncle will go, I worked on that aircraft. I used to fly that aircraft. My mate Barry once got a lift in that aircraft. And also we used, when they had their own display team, the Royal Navy, it used to be called the Sharks, and that was one of the Sharks aircraft. It was used in the 85. And then the number 4 aircraft, the one at the back, was originally in service of the Royal Navy 705 Squadron, and that was built in 1975. And today's pilot, Kev Matteson, he enjoyed his first helicopter solo flight in this aircraft. How cool is that? Imagine that was the first aircraft that you flew solo in, and then all these years later, you know, that was back in June of '83, and all of these years later, he's displaying the very aircraft that he took his first helicopter solo flight in. That really is very, very good. The team is staffed by volunteer pilots, as I said. Leader is Tim Gray, former Royal Marine and current RAF officer. Experienced operations all over the world with multiple types of aircraft. Tim is currently flying the C-17 as well at 99 Squadron at Bryce Norton. He's got 8,000 hours, 3,000 of which are on the Gazelle, and he's a former member of the Royal Air Force Blue Eagles. Number 2 pilot, Andy Wellesley. He's been flying well over 40 years. He flew as a military pilot initially with the Royal Marines and then with the Army Air Corps, and he flew the Gazelle and the Lynx, where he operated in Falklands, Belize, Bosnia, Cyprus, and all over Europe, crewing over 2,000 hours on Gazelles. He now flies commercial, flying the Global 6000. Nice piece of kit that. He has 7,000 flight hours in total. When he's not flying around in his Gazelle, he does a lot of running, cycling, and playing golf badly. He's also got a Piper Arrow. Number 3 is Mitch, one of the longest serving members of the team. He's been with the team since its inception over 6 years ago, and he set out as an Army apprentice avionics technician. So here's somebody that was originally a technician and then became a pilot. That's the opportunities that you get within the Army. And number 4 is Kev Matteson. He's also a team manager. Kev joined the Royal Navy in '82, and he flew 4 different types in service, including Gazelle, Sea King, Merlin, and the United States Navy Seahawk. So he obviously did a secondment. I've just got a quick announcement. Can Louise Hill please attend the First Aid Post 1 immediately? Louise Hill, please attend the First Aid Post number 1 immediately. If you don't know where that First Aid Post is, just ask any member with a tabard. They'll be able to direct you straight through it. Louise Hill, please attend the First Aid Post number 1. So as I was saying, Kev Matteson, not just the team manager, he's flown many, many different types of helicopters. He flew in the Sharks display team as well. He's number 4 and also the solo position. And he's flown over 10 different types of aircraft in 4,500 hours. Off because to cope with that wind that's blowing from their right. Ladies and gentlemen, the Gazelle formation helicopter team. 5-3. Oh, that sounds good, doesn't it? It's like a cool, refreshing drink to your ears. Amazing sound. So the Rolls-Royce Spitfire that we're seeing in front of us, PS-853, it's an unarmed, high-altitude reconnaissance aircraft, one of a batch of 79 that were built, and it's a Mark 14. So, what do we know about Mark 14, boys and girls? What's the answer? What happened after Mark 12s? That's right, they all swapped from Merlins to Griffin engines. It is definitely a different sound. So the Mark 14s were powered by 2,000 horsepower Griffin 65s or 66s, and they represent the pinnacle of the Spitfire's development in terms of speed and altitude. Top speed of 446 miles an hour and a ceiling up to 42,000 feet. PS-853 was delivered to the Central Photography Reconnaissance Unit, the RAF Benson, in January 45, so just as the war was coming to an end, before moving into Belgium and Holland. The aircraft was engaged in active service with number 16 Squadron right up until the end of the war and participated in Operation Crossbow. That, of course, was that operation to detect V-1s and V-2, the vengeance weapons, the launch sites. At the end of the war, it remained in Germany until March of 46, and then it was placed in storage back in the UK, and then in 1950, it was one of several Mark 14 Spitfires selected for conversion to conduct meteorological research, known as the temperature and humidity of the upper air mass flight. Wow, that badge was huge. And PS-853 performed the last ever Spitfire sortie with regards to that in June of 57. Along with her sister Mark 14 PM631 and PS915, this aircraft retired into ceremonial display duties to form the Royal Air Force Historical Aircraft Flight, the forerunner of today's Battle Britain flight. In '96, Rolls-Royce bought the aircraft to replace the original Mark 14 that they had, which was out of service, and the aircraft was re-registered. And that beautiful paint scheme we see today is representative of number 16 Photographic Reconnaissance Squadron. It's commonly known on the set, we all call this the Rolls-Royce Spitfire. From Wild, we recognise as an ambassador for Rolls-Royce, appearing in air displays and charity events and also corporate functions. And as I said earlier, this aircraft represents the heritage of the Spitfire and the Rolls-Royce engine that power them, highlighting that constant technical development of both aircraft and its engines, and honours the pilots of all the nations who flew them and the men and the women who built and maintained them. The aircraft is based in a dedicated hangar up at East Midlands Airport near Derby, and it can usually be seen around the display circuit between April and October. And then for the winter months, back in the hangar, let's do the annual maintenance on it. Ian Smithy Smith, or Smithy as we call him, is the Rolls-Royce Spitfire pilot. Joined the Royal Air Force at the tender age of 17, 1983. Then served at RAF Gütersloh in Germany, flying the Chinook helicopter, with deployments in Northern Ireland and Falklands. Smithy then spent the 90s as a QFI in Yorkshire, flew Jaguar, where he also went on operational duties in Yugoslavia and Iraq. And he also flew the Hawks with a team you may know, the Red Arrows, when they were based out of Cranwell. So coming through for the last time at the controls, Ian Smithy Smith and the Rolls-Royce Spitfire. There he goes, heading north into the sunset. Beautiful sight. Thank you very much, Rolls-Royce. So, running in, from your left, the Royal Air Force Typhoon. pushes the nose up 60 degrees, come around at maximum 90 turn. Powered by those EJ 2000 engines, developing nearly 50,000 pounds of thrust in full reheat. You see that distinctive shape of also, you might notice the leading edge of that delta wing, the slats, leading edge change the aerodynamics of the aircraft. Fantastic roll rate as well. The aircraft is going through a new radar setup. It's a system called Radar 2 that's going to transform the aircraft, its performance and its delivery of weapons. The Typhoon is built with modular design, so exactly that. As it goes through its life cycle, they'll be able to upgrade the aircraft without making any major changes to the structure of it. Now, watch as it goes into the vertical. It's coming right out the sun. Classic flight. Corkscrew and roll down. So with the advent of Radar 2 for the Typhoon fleet, it's going to nearly double their radar range. And the aircraft is fully capable now, not just air-to-air, but also air-to-ground interdiction. Watch as he comes through the center. You can see that amazing roll rate because of such a good air-to-air capability as well. And the aircraft is what we call a 4th generation fighter, maybe a 4.5 with its upgrades. It's not stealthy in the traditional sense. It has some stealth coatings, and it's not huge on the radar, but compared to the new F-35s that are coming on, it's got a pretty decent radar cross return, especially with external loads carried like it does. So a slow roll as he goes through. Now we're going to see the slower part of the flight envelope as he throttles the aircraft back. So the aircraft has got computers on board, and the computers are talking to each other all the time, thousands times a second. They're comparing the feed coming back from the aircraft, from the sensor itself. So they're sort of voting, you know, is this the right thing? So we're going to see what's called a high alpha approach now. So he's pitching the nose up. If you've got binoculars and you can see the canards at the front, you'll see them moving very, very quickly. And that's the computer. So the fly-by-wire system is now taken over so the aircraft doesn't stall. He's pitched the aircraft up, but now he's going to reintroduce the afterburner and just push the power forward. These aircraft were over 25 tons. About 25 tons. Look, just pushing the power forward on those and it just goes straight forward. So that shows you the power to weight ratio that the aircraft enjoys. Of course, it has super cruise as well, which means it can go faster through the sands without the incremental to your fuel bill. The pilot is sitting on his Martin Baker ejector seat in a recline. He has a HOTAS system, so that means hands-on throttle and stick. So his left hand has, I think it's about 17 functions that the throttle can do. So he doesn't have to physically move his hand. Oh, great shot. It's a left condenser. Yeah, it's moist. Great turn. 60s, he's pitching, he's pulling 9G. His G-chute will be inflating all the way around there, trying to stop the blood moving from the top. Typhoon also enjoys the latest and greatest in the helmet technology world. He can monitor nearly all of the systems on the aircraft in his visor. Into knife edge on the way down. Another beauty of these aircraft is that they have a very, very capable maintenance system. So the aircraft is constantly maintaining itself. It's looking for faults. It can see problems coming up. And every time it lands, the first thing that's plugged into this is not the fuel bowser, but the computer. The aircraft will tell the operators, hey, this wasn't right, or that wasn't right. And as you'd expect, incredibly powerful. So get ready as we can see the aircraft coming back around for one of its penultimate maneuvers. Now the weather is perfect for his end show. He's going to go into a vertical climb, storm the aircraft up to about 5,000 or 6,000 feet. Now you can see the moisture in the air. The reason you can see that forming over the top of the aircraft as it's going through the air is the mass of the aircraft is actually heating the moisture in the air. So it's in effect boiling the air around it because you've got this massive big shape moving through wet air, and it's heating the air around it, and you get these beautiful photographic opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, the Royal Air Force Typhoon.
The team arriving in wall formation. That's 200 to 300 feet wide from left wingtip to right wingtip. They arrive at over 400 miles per hour. They pull up at 4G and collapse into 8 arrow. The smoke comes off and they reach a height of about 5,500 to 6,000 feet before Red One brings them back down to their minimum display height. Red One twists the team to the left. Red One this year is squad leader Tom Bold. He is in his third and final year as Red One, the team leader. He was also in the team between 2015 and 17, where he was the synchro leader in 2017. He's also flown Typhoon on operational service. He's a qualified flying instructor on the Hawk T-Mark II and Tucano, where he was the Tucano display pilot in 2010. As the smoke comes on for the 8 arrow present. Keep your eye on the team for a dynamic shape change. As Red 7-8 perform a rollback and change the shape from 8 arrow into Vixen. As Red 1 brings the team round to the right, you can see it's in Vixen formation. Of course, if we were a 9 ship, we'd now be in our trademark Diamond 9 with number 9 at the back. However, for 2023, we are only an 8 ship, and that is down to the fact we can only train 3 new pilots safely with the correct level of supervision each year, and simply the maths didn't work out for this year. However, next year for our own 60th anniversary, our own Diamond Jubilee, our plan is to be back at our Diamond 9 and our trademark 9 shape for the entire season. As the team come round to the right, get your cameras ready for the Vixen roll. As the team roll to left on the right hand side of Red 1 is Red 2, Flight Lieutenant Rich Walker. Rich is in his first year on the team. He's an extremely experienced pilot, having flown operations on both the Harrier and the Typhoon, as well as being a qualified flying instructor on the Hawk T-Mark II. As I said, 8 pilots in the display this year. There are 10 pilots on the team. The 8 you see in front of you. Myself, Red 10, former Tornado GR4 pilot, qualified flying instructor on the Hawk T-Mark II. I also fly the spare jet in between shows and also fly the jet around the display taking airborne images. We are also commanded by Officer Commanding Rafat, which is Wing Commander Adam Collins. He's a former Tornado GR4 pilot. He's also flown the F-111 while on exchange with the Australian Air Force. And he's also a former qualified flying instructor on the Hawk T-Mark I. You can see the team come now round from the right. They've moved their way into Apollo as Red 1 brings them around for the Apollo loop. Once again, Red 1 pulls them up at over 400 miles per hour and 4G. They reach a height of over 5,500 feet and the aircraft now is starting to slow to approximately 110 to 120 miles per hour, which means that the controls of the aircraft are a lot less effective. Conversely, as the aircraft starts to descend, they now increase speed through 200, 300, back to that 400 miles per hour, where the controls are a lot more effective, making the pilots work even more harder as they come around to the left for the Apollo present. On the left of Red 1 is Red 3, Flight Lieutenant Tom Hansfield. Tom is in his first year on the team. He's a former Typhoon pilot and qualified weapons instructor on the Typhoon. This meant that he would teach weapon technical information and all frontline tactics to the entire Typhoon force. Reds 2 and 3, smoke comes on as the entire centre section makes their way rearwards to the second of our space-themed shapes. We had the Apollo from the Apollo space missions, and now they've moved into Eagle from the Eagle lunar landing craft. And you can see Reds 4 and 5 all the way back at the formation, which makes it extremely difficult for them as we take all our formation references from Red 1, not necessarily the closest aircraft to you. As the smoke comes on for the Eagle present. As I said, the second of our space-themed shapes, as the Royal Air Force acknowledges that space plays an important part in future military operations. And in 2021, UK Space Command was formed. And UK Space Command reached its initial operating capability in 2022. Reds 4 and 5 now smoke as they make their way forward to sit alongside Reds 2 and 3 and Reds 7 and 8 in trail. And in May 2023, the Royal Air Force celebrated the 80th anniversary of Op Chastise. That is the most famous mission in World War II to take out the dams in the Ruhr Valley in Germany, which, of course, was carried out by the world famous 617, the Dam Buster Squadron. And of course, the Dam Busters still fly in today's Royal Air Force, however, they now fly the 5th generation latest aircraft, the F-35. Once again, get your cameras ready for the lightning roll. And as the team rolls to the left on the far right hand side uppermost is Red 4. That's Flight Lieutenant Ollie Suckling. Ollie is also in his first year on the team, a former Tornado GR4 pilot and flying instructor on the Hawk T-Mark II. His opposite number, smoking on the left, is Red 5, Flight Lieutenant Patrick Kershaw, known as Paddy. Paddy was Red 3 last year. He's flown the both the Tornado and the Typhoon on operational service. All the pilots on the Red Arrows must have over 1,500 fast jet hours and be assessed as above average in the air before they can apply to join the team. Those pilots are then whittled down to the final 9. The final 9 then take a week's testing with us, where they do a formal interview, a formal media interview, and a flying test. Those 9 are whittled down to the final 3, and they become the final pilots for the new season each year. Looking directly to your front now, coming round to the left as the team are now in Signet. You hear that transmission with Red 1 giving the commands to the rest of the team, and you can almost be forgiven for the robotic and monotone delivery, and that's because we fly our formation by ear as well as eye. And it means that the guys on the outside of formation are having to put their input in just a little bit earlier than those on the inside to ensure that the formation moves as one, and you don't get a ripple effect down the wing. Looking off to the far right hand side now, you can see the formation, 2 distinct sections with Red 7 in 8 in trail for one of the most popular, if not the most popular manoeuvre that we fly in the 2023 show. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, get your cameras ready as the Red Arrows ride the storm in the Tornado. Seven, 8, roll, go, and the aboard call is made by Red 8 as both Red 7 and 8 roll around the rest of the formation. But of course, Red 1 doesn't want to make it too easy for the rest of the team, so watch for the colour change. As the red and the blue come on, he bends round to right and makes the job even more difficult for both Red 7 and 8. You may be able to see in the front section of aircraft, those aircraft are flying with their air brake out. That's a small door at the base of the aircraft towards the back. This means those pilots are now flying with a higher throttle setting, and it means a hotter engine gas temperature, which makes the smoke burn a lot more brightly. And it also disturbs the airflow out the back of the aircraft, making the smoke billow a lot more fuller. And that ensures that we enhance certain manoeuvres in the display. As we come to the end of the first half, so far you've seen formation flying involving all 8 aircraft. As we go into the second half, it is the more high-speed, fast-paced, heart-pumping, jaw-dropping formation, which now involves 2 distinct sections. You have Reds 1 through 5, they're now known as Enid, named after Enid Blyton's famous 5. And you've got Reds 6, 7 and 8, now known as Hannah, named after squadron leader Ray Hannah, one of the first members of the Red Arrows, who's attributed of taking the team from a 7 to a 9 and also of forming our trademark Diamond 9. However, look directly to your front for the start of the second half. Get your cameras ready. This is the detonator. Enid braking first, followed by Hannah. You've got Red 6 off the left, Red 7 off the right, Red 8 up over the top. That tone in the radio transmission is actually Red 6, giving the commands to 7 and 8 to brake. And this allows him to talk to Hannah formation without stepping on the voice transmission of Red 1. You know, on the synchro pair, you've got red 7 off to the right, red 6 off to the left, and they are led by red 6, the synchro leader. That is squad leader James Turner, known as JT, in his 4th and final year on the team. He's a former Typhoon pilot, a former instructor on the Typhoon, and qualified flying instructor on the Hawk Team Op 1. Each of those aircraft now dive to only 100 feet above the sea. They've got a closing speed of over 800 miles per hour as they look to pass within only 100 feet of the other. Each aircraft performs a 4-point hesitation roll. And now turn hard, pull up to 6G, away from the display line, turning hard back towards the centre as they complete the manoeuvre called Cyclone. Look to your right hand side, red 8 coming in, 450 miles per hour with a blue smoke in trail. And if you look to your left, far in the distance, you can see a small trail of red. The smoke comes on as Enid put themselves into an inverted V as red 8 flies the goose. Red 1 gathers the rest of Enid and this formation bend around to the left. Underneath the aircraft, you might be able to see a small fuel tank. It's actually the smoke pod. That smoke pod is capable of producing 5 minutes of white smoke, 1 minute of red smoke, and 1 minute of blue smoke. And each of those colours is selectable by its own individual button on the pilot's control column. And the smoke plan is carefully choreographed between red 1 and red 6 in winter training to ensure that we have the right smoke, right colour at the right time in the display and that we don't run out. Look to your front now, the synchro pair running back in with red 7 in trail on red 6. Get your cameras ready. They split. The red smoke comes on for the wonderful, world famous synchro heart. Keep your eye to the high left hand side as red 8 comes in and spears the heart. Give Hannah formation a massive round of applause for a wonderful horse over the skies of air. Keep your eye now on the synchro pair once again. Red 6 off to the right, red 7 off to the left. Look to your far right hand side in the distance, you can see Enid running back in with a red 8 now in trail on red 1. The red and the blue come on as they perform a series of barrels through the sky, leaving a snake-like trail in the sky in a manoeuvre called the Typhoon. As I said earlier, there are 10 pilots on the Red Arrows. However, the Red Arrows is not just about the pilots. There are over 140 personnel on the squadron. Over 130 of them are the support personnel. They are the engineers, the administrators, the DI team, the public relations, and they are known as the Blues, named due to the colour of their flying coveralls. And a number of the Blues are here today at the public relations tent, so please pop along and say hello. Within those Blues there are 10 individuals who get to fly in between in between our displays, when we cannot take the full engineering complement, they are known as Circus. One individual with me at every display is Circus 10. That's Corporal Phil Dye. He's on the beach in front of me, filming the display purpose for just debrief and safety purposes. He's also responsible for a lot of the images you see on social media taken from the back of my aircraft. You now have Red 7 coming in from the left, Red 6 in from the right, once again over 100 feet and 800 miles per hour closing speed. Each aircraft performs a 360-degree aileron roll. Pull, go is the call from Red 6, as each aircraft now pull up 5 to 6G, trying to mirror each other. 5 to 6G means everything about them is now weighing 5 to 6 times heavier than what you and I are as we stand on the ground. They reach a height of over 2,500 feet and now 60 degrees inverted on the way down, trying to recapture that 100 feet as they complete the maneuver called Boomerang. Look far in the distance now, you can see Enid in the distance, the white smoke comes on, and once again Red 1 pulls them up over 400 miles per hour. They roll to the right, get yourselves ready for the Enid vertical brake. As Enid leave directly to the front, the show's still not over. Look to your far right hand side and you've got Hannah running back in. That's Red 6, 7 and 8. With Red 6 smoking white, with Red 7 and 8 in trail. Red 6 rolls inverted. And he calls for Red 7, 8 to roll in the corkscrew. Smoking blue is Red 7. Flight Lieutenant Stu Roberts. Stu is in his second year in the team. He was Red 2 last year and has flown Typhoon on operational service. Red 8, Smoking Red, is Flight Lieutenant David Simmons, known as Simo. Former Tornado GR4 pilot, where he flew the roll demo in 2010. He also flew the Harrier and the F5 while on exchange with the United States Marine Corps. Look to your right hand side and Enid running back in with the white smoke in trail. 2 and 3 roll go as 2 and 3 roll around the outside. Clear go as Reds 4 and 5 rolling out the outside in one of the hardest manoeuvres for our new pilots each year to master. This is rollbacks. The motto of the Red Arrows is Eclat, which means excellence. And that means everyone on the squadron from the very bottom to the very top is striving for excellence in everything that we do. However, we're also aware that we are guardians of that motto for only 3 to 5 years, and therefore we try to leave the squadron in a better place from where we found it. However, look directly to your front. Once again, you've got the nose lights in the distance of Hannah. Seven and 8 roll go, the blue smoke comes on as Red 7 and 8 roll around 6. Once again, get your cameras ready for the Hannah Vortex break. Keep your eye on the synchro once again. They're up at their perch about 1,000 feet. They'll dive down for their final manoeuvre of the show. that 100 feet above the sea. The closing speed of over 800 miles per hour. They'll do a series of bow rolls followed by inverted flight for their final maneuver of the show. This is crossbow. Look directly to your front. Enid running back in with the white smoke in trail. The red comes on from red one as he rolls around the rest of the formation, leaving the infinity symbol in the sky for the infinity break. However, ladies and gentlemen, it's been an honour, it's been a pleasure. Please put your hands together for the 2023 Royal Air Force Aerobatic Team. It's the